Hi everybody, it's Lace, and today we're going to talk about taming. Now, depending on your pledge level, you may have something like this that came in your inventory. Right now it says broken, but it's not. That's just a glitch. But you may have something that says, Founder, Royal Artisan, Taming Creature Call. You're going to want to equip that around your neck here. And when you do that, and I hit Y for decks, and it doesn't really matter which deck we go into, but I've hit modify, you get a list of all the glyphs that you have. If I look for taming, I have one called summoning, and that's what's on my bar here. So if I remove it to put it on there, I would just do that, and it's going to summon the creature that, from looking at C character, that is in this particular whistle, which is a reward. So some people are going to have those right off the bat, and when I summon the creature, here they are. Now I gave it a name and stuff, Betsy, and you could rename it or, to be whatever. You can set it to defensive, aggressive, passive, dismiss it, patrol, stay here, follow, different things, stop attacking. There's different commands. Those commands also tie into your number keyboard, and I can kind of show you which numbers those are in a minute. We'll get into that. But that's the basics of how to summon a creature, and I just summoned her from going off my non-combat bar, and that's it. Now, of course, if you don't have a pet, you're going to want to learn taming, and you're going to need to train that at the adventure trainer, just like any other skill. And I'm in the taming school, which is down here, and we started off with a base of 10 this iteration. I don't know that that's how that's going to be for final wipe. I'm not certain, but anyway, you need the 10, and once you have the 10, you're going to want this heal creature. I use heal creature a lot just in my regular rotation of healing spells, because once you get that up to 10, you get the res creature, and I've talked about this before. It's a little bit faster way to get a res. You can use res creature on players, so besides going into the life tree and going down all this way down to where you get your res, this is an alternative. See, I could train this, but I just haven't. Anyway, we're talking about taming. So that's something you're going to want to tame. As you summon creatures repeatedly, dismiss them, summon them, and stuff like that, you'll get your summoning up. And then the thing that I need to train right now is I want to, because we're going to actually go train or tame something, and I never have, ever. So, I may fumble around, but I'm going to want to train that. Collar recovery. So I use less collars in training. And that's about new skills. Don't need to look at that right now. I could train the obedience, and if I was planning on doing this for a long time, I might want to increase the combat level of my pet, because obviously, it's going to increase their effectiveness. I believe their hit points as well. But we're just going to focus on collar recovery for now. Concentration, it takes, when you have a pet up, it's going to take part of your focus bar down. So if my focus is, I can't, looks like 270, 370, it's going to take a chunk of that. So that's going to improve it to where it takes less of your focus. And the other one, what does this say? Reduces cooldown on summoning. If I dismiss this and tried to resummon it, it's like I don't know exactly how many minutes, but it's so long before I can resummon the pet. Again, having this res creature somewhere on your bar, on your non-combat bar, is going to be very important. Don't go out there taming creatures and using them hunting unless you've got resurrect creature, because if the pet dies and you don't resurrect it, and this is not the royal founder pet, but a normal, a spider or a horse or a sheep or a pig or whatever you've tamed, if it dies and you don't resurrect it within so many minutes, it's gone. So be careful. One other thing to talk about is having some spells loaded onto a bar. So I've made a taming demo combat deck, and if I hit modify, basically what I've got my healing spells like I'd have normally. I've got my fighting spells maybe that I'd have normally, and I've thrown in a root, and I've also then thrown in the tame creature command. You're going to want the root so that you can get the tame creature off and maybe doesn't hit you and interrupt you. Also, it gives you, a little time to get in there. Typically the basic practice is you're going to beat on something until it's, about less than 50% health. You might want to root it and then use the tame creature. I've taken some things out of my combat bar just because I don't want to overkill, because we're going to be going to a low area, because obviously if I hit K for skills, my taming's pretty low. So that's just some of the preparation, you know, train the skills. And let me just get out of that. Make sure you've set up a combat bar appropriately so that you can actually tame the creature. And then also make sure that you have the res. I keep my healed creature sometimes locked if I have a pet out so that I can always heal it. It does mean it'll have a cooldown timer if I lock it. Or if I have a bunch of these, I could throw them into my deck and let it come up randomly and not lock it. Again, that's the basics of the setup. The next thing you're going to need, obviously, are some taming collars and some whistles so that it puts the pet inside the whistle so that you can use it around your neck, just like I have this guy around my neck. So let's head over and talk about the crafting. So making the collars is a two-step process, just like making the whistles. The first thing you need to make is an animal collar, and that's just straps and metal binding. Metal binding is again from ore. You take ore and make an ingot, and then you take the ingots and you make metal bindings on the blacksmithing table. Straps, that's just leather straps, so obviously you're going to tan them and just make plain straps. That's the first part. Starting out, you're going to expect to go through a lot of collars, but the making of the collar is then, if I go over to an alchemy table, and I can make the actual taming collar, and that's going to use the animal collars that I previously made, plus 1 silver ingot. So obviously, if you're going to be a tamer, you're going to need to probably mine to get all that silver. So, and then again, you know, just click on it, drag it, and I'll make a call or make an actual taming collar. So that's that part. The next part's the whistle, and you're going to make that on a carpentry station, the first half. And if I look, there's animal whistle. It's going to take a pole, a hammer, and a rasp, and that will make the animal whistle. Much like we just did with the collar, we're going to go down to our alchemy table and click into that. And if I look for whistle, there's a summoning whistle. And again, it's going to take that plain animal whistle that we just made and 2 silver ingots, and that makes the whistle. Now you won't go, the whistle is going to hold the animal, so only on success are you going to need those. So, you know, probably starting out, you don't need quite as many of those, but you definitely are going to need a lot of collars. And the collar recovery, I think I read somewhere that if you get your collar recovery, and again, that's under K for skills, and I look at taming, when you get the collar recovery up to 100, which is Grandmaster level, then I believe it only consumes a collar when you successfully tame. But getting up to 100, well, you're going to go through a lot of collars. And also, because this is a adventuring skill, it's going to come out of your adventuring pool, and that's what's going to build it. So you're going to be hunting an awful lot, probably turning off most of your other combat skills, trying to build this pool so you can suck the most into that. And we've kind of talked about pools and combat and thing, but just keep in mind it works. It's not working off crafting, it's working off your combat pool. And you know, my crafting pool, again, if you haven't looked at other videos, my crafting pool is a different amount, and that's that part. So I ran down just down the road to Kings Road, you know, one of the lower level skull areas. If I look, it's a 1 skull area, pretty easy and stuff. And I didn't suspect that I would tame on the first try, and I just kind of wanted to practice, but of course I did. But one thing to point out is I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to go into game, and I'm going to go into free attack rather than auto attack because I'm much higher than these. I don't want to kill them before I can actually tame them. So that's another tip there. If you're way high above it, don't overkill. So this way I could control how many times I was hitting the mob. And then I actually happened to tame this on the first try. Now, as we're trying to do it right this minute, watch, it probably won't happen the next one we encounter. But we'll give it a live shot, and if not, then I'll just go back and edit it until I get one successful to show you. Kind of looking for mob. Of course, if I wasn't looking for one, they'd be everywhere. There's a guy. Here he comes. Okay, so I'm going to go into combat. Again, I'm waiting for everything to pop up because I want my tame to be up there before I actually smack him. There we go, it's up. Okay, so I'm going to hit this mob 1 time because it's pretty strong, and then I'm going to hit the tame. and I'm trying to tame him now. The other one's beating on me while I'm doing this. Now I could have rooted it, and depending on how high the creature is, you might want to try that. And it says, oh look, 2 successes, oh my goodness, and this one's ready to go too. So now look, I can tame this one. Because when I did that one swing, my pole arm hits multi-targets, so I got them both down below 50% right away. Now this is just showing, less than 1%, and I'm just getting lucky, but we can see there, I didn't tame him. And his hit points are there. I can try again, but I just, burned a collar, but my collar recovery is going up. Collar recovery went up again, and it looks like we tamed him. So if I look at my inventory, I believe we should see, let's see, whistle, broken, summoning whistle. Should see what the creature is in it, but I'm not seeing that. I'm gonna have to check on that. Okay, so I figured out my screw up. When I look at my character, I still had the Betsy on, which is, it's already had a creature in it. We go to inventory and get one of these summoning whistles that we made and put it on, because you need to have the empty one that you want the creature to summon into. So that makes sense. So let's go out and try to get one now. We got a little spider up here. Oh look, it's half dead already. So I'm just gonna go into combat. Wait for my taming skill to pop up here. There it is. Didn't make it. So let's see if we can get another one to pop. Try again. And obviously you see you're going to be failing a lot, but you're going to be getting skills up. And we got it. So now if I look at C for character, we see that it's got a small wolf spider in there. And that's how you tame. The next thing I want to show you is at this website, sodataming.engine.com. They have this wonderful little grid that they've made, this little spreadsheet that shows your percent chance to tame something based on your taming level and the type of creature that it is. So it gives you a good guide, like, maybe you're trying to say, well, maybe I should move up a hunting level or something. It kind of gives you a little bit of a heads up. I'm not 100% sure that these are all still accurate going into R32, but if there's been some tweaking, it's probably scaled. It should still give you a base reference point for that information. As promised, I wanted to give you the actual commands, like if I've summoned my pet, which is just going to be this little wolf spider. Yay! He's not going to be very strong, but if I hit escape and I go into controls, kind of near the bottom here, you're going to see all your pet passives, so there's shortcuts for them using your keypad, and you'll just, kind of have to memorize them, or you could remap them, as well. And that pretty much covers everything I wanted to go over into taming, and that was absolutely from a beginner standpoint since I had never done it. It's not too bad because I was higher level, and the mobs that I was trying to tame were considerably lower than me. If you were trying to tame something at your same level, you wouldn't have done it exactly the same way I did it. You would be using that root command a lot, and then trying to get that tame off and not get interrupted in between there. Sometimes people will go in groups where somebody's controlling the beating and taking the aggro, letting it beat on them while the other person's taming them. Those are alternatives as well. So hope that helps everybody. Happy hunting, take care, and be safe.